All right, we're here.
And
It smells like nice rock.
I'm in Henry's chair, and it's the most awkward fit.
I know he loves it to be tall so he can like hunch over.
It's just because Henry's
Like he perches
much
in
larger
his
than
chair.
I
He
am.
perches.
He just
Percher.
I never thought of Henry as a percher.
He is a percher.
Is he like the vulture in another life, since we're discussing superheroes off the air?
No, okay, yes, that's something. So apparently we were kind of on air too while we were discussing them.
Are superheroes poor?
Yeah, like I want to continue that conversation with anybody at 974-2535. Call in if you know a superhero who is actually poor.
How is Spider-Man not poor?
Okay, so
He's a poor college student.
No.
Struggling to make ends meet.
Aunt May pays his bills. He lives in Manhattan. He goes from Aunt May's house to like the Green Goblin's child's house, which is rich.
Yeah, the Green Goblin's rich. He's rich.
So I mean, but he like sponges off him. Like you've never seen Peter Parker be like, "Oh man, can't go save this bus full of children. I've got, my boss is yelling at me to get pictures of the Little League football." Like he's never. Like the only pictures he takes is of himself.
In the second movie, he dresses up as Spider-Man so he can deliver the pizza on time because he's working as a pizza delivery boy, and he misses the delivery time. And they refuse to pay for it because, I think the deal is if you get the pie within 30 minutes or less, then it's free. And he's at 32 minutes, and they refuse to pay, and then he gets fired from the job. That's the second movie, though.
I don't remember that, but that's still not super poor. But I mean, that is more poor than I have seen before.
How?
So maybe Spider-Man, but I want to know if there's actually
like food stamp poor.
Yeah, food stamp poor superhero. Because I mean, it doesn't pay to be a superhero.
No, it doesn't. I think
you don't get a check in the mail from the city that you saved.
I think I actually saw an article online that that more or less discussed the socioeconomic divide between heroes and villains. Because all the villains seem to be kind of poor. Magneto was a Holocaust survivor.
Well, I guess it's if you're a villain, though, I mean, if you had the money, you'd probably actually succeed in your villainry or whatever.
Right.
And then who would the hero fight?
The 1%. I don't know.
They are the 1%. That's the point. They're not going to fight themselves.
Yeah, Tony Stark's he's not gonna wage a war on. Yeah. I don't know who's.
The Koch brothers.
The Koch brothers, yeah. Well, he might. I don't know. Does Tony Stark have a conscience, or is it just all ego in there?
I think it's pretty much all ego, to be honest. I think his conscience is laced with ego. To make himself look better is why he does things, not because he thinks it's morally
maybe. Captain America was pretty darn poor, and he went 70 years just being frozen. That's even more poor.
Yeah, but then so he was frozen.
Although I guess he's off the grid. Then.
Yeah, he's off the grid.
He's off the grid.
He's off the grid.
He doesn't have a social security number
for several years. But then he comes back and you don't see him how do I get an apartment?
He grew up.
You don't see him trying to scrounge together the first and last month.
Because he's taken care of because he's Captain America.
Yeah, we're they defrost him oh, I guess we're gonna give you your apartment. You're woman age. Sorry about that, but.
Yeah. I remember that scene when he's talking to her. He's 25 and she's 90.
Yeah, and he's you're still beautiful. I'm stop lying.
But then she's bursting into tears because she has Alzheimer's or dementia, I think, if I remember that scene correctly. Having a normal conversation, all of a sudden she just starts crying for no reason.
Because he's still so young and she's all old and wrinkly and
I kind of got
knocking on death's door.
Well, I kind of got the impression that she didn't know where she was at that moment.
Dealt with dementia a lot there. I think that's where your mind goes.
Maybe. I've had family members with dementia and Alzheimer's. That looked like dementia and Alzheimer's to me.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. Well,
I thought she was just I'm about to die. And so she was sad.
And you're still so pretty.
Yeah, you're still so pretty. She's nah, I'm not buying it.
Who else? Who could have been poor? Nick Fury, does he count? He worked his way up the ladder.
He's getting a pretty good stipend and paycheck and
from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, for S.H.I.E.L.D. So I mean
Professor X was rich, very rich.
And he built his mansion, which then encompassed all the X-Men with being rich because you never saw them have to have jobs.
I think even Wolverine was rich in his backstory. He came from a rich background.
I can believe that.
But then he just became like a vagabond when he lost his memory or whatever.
He chose a chosen vagabond, basically.
Yeah, more or less. I think that was the backstory, if I remember that really crappy movie correctly.
I'll take it.
Yeah, what? That's quasi poor, I guess.
Quasi-poor. No, I want the person that has to clock in. I want
He
them.
clocked in. He was a lumberjack there for a little while. Up in Canada, up in fictional Canada.
Up in fictional Canada. I don't know. I think Canada really is that beautiful and awesome.
I don't know. It looks pretty nice. There's probably not a lot to do, but I'm sure the scenery is very
But
nice.
that isn't a part of his story. I mean, he worked for a couple years. Okay.
He had
And
a really
went
nice.
and lived in the mansion.
He did have I think if I remember that movie right too, I was like, wow, that's a really nice house for a lumberjack salary.
Yeah, they always do that.
He's like living on a mountain in a very nice cabin.
Yeah, and like has a car and stuff. Like, I mean,
Yeah, he had a car.
he wasn't struggling.
No, he wasn't struggling, but I don't like define like you just want I think the closest we're gonna get is Spider-Man because he's
That's
getting
just
jerked
sad to
around.
me.
He was pretty poor.
He was okay. He was pretty poor, but he's a photographer for a New York City newspaper
How
in his teens.
in his teens, yeah.
So he's not struggling. Like, there are people who have gone.
Yeah, but he only got that job because he can get pictures of Spider-Man. himself.
He's still not struggling.
Oh, we're getting a call.
Oh, hopefully it smells like nice rock.
Blade the Vampire Hunter, does he count as a superhero? As like an anti-hero?
Did you not just hear my argument? He was
We're trying to if we're at 9742535. Sheila's tied up on the line. We're discussing if superheroes can be poor.
He always gets stiffed.
I don't really. This is difficult because I feel like you have to be on a certain rung of the economic ladder to be a vigilante superhero. Okay, if, we might have a lead on a superhero that is very poor. Lower. Well, wait, who? Shazam? Shazam, like.